Welcome to the LFG Pats Pod with your hosts, Joe and Mike. Let's go!
All right, welcome into the LFG Pats Pod. This is episode 16.
16.
And 16,
Wow.
It's crazy. We had the Megapod last week. We were with the Pats Planet boys, the Foxborough fellow boys. We were with everybody. We were at camp. I felt like all last week. I felt like I was going to turn into a stool in the Gillette Stadium parking lot. But it was great. We got a lot of great time together. It was awesome. We're going to talk today. We have our fan of the offseason, Aidan. So Aidan Holloran.
Shout out to Aidan.
He got our first T-shirt. We saw him in the parking lot. This guy power watched all 14 of our episodes. We did a little interview with him in the parking lot. And then, like always, Mike and I, the AV geniuses that we are, we had some new equipment and it just shit the bed. Let's just say what it was.
It worked out a little bit.
Yeah, unexplainable phenomenon. We'd explain it, but we wouldn't be able to.
I think it's the Jets, Bills, maybe the Bills are tapping into us. Who knows?
Somebody
wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So we had a great little interview, but we had to delete it. So I said, Aidan, why don't you come on the show? So we have a great show. We're going to talk about everything that's happened since our last show last week. So a lot has happened, a lot of drama today in the news. Will Campbell is apparently now a left guard, or he's working at Amazon. I'm not sure. We'll see what the updates are there. But we had a great show. Before we get into that, though, we have to talk about the sponsors. Rogue Island Kitchen and Bar. It's in the Arcade in Providence. Awesome place. Go down there, get the poutine. They have an amazing brisket poutine. They got chicken sandwiches, chicken and waffles. Their brunch is amazing. They have probably 50-something beers on tap. My buddy Ryan Bissett owns it. If you go in there, tell him the LFG Pats Pod sent you. You'll probably get something from him. He'll give you something. Trust me. But go check it out.
We got his logo on the back of our shirt.
We got the logo on the back. Yep. So we're all in on Rogue Island. We're also all in on Impact Branded Marketing. So John DiDonato, he's in Cumberland. This guy's awesome. This guy's like a genius. You walk into his place, you feel like you're in the lab. He shows you all his stuff, shows you how he operates the business. Hats, T-shirts, mugs, you name it. This guy's got it. We've already got some stuff in. Some stuff's shipping out. The hats are still, I guess the patches took a little long. They're like hand-stitched, really nice patches.
Your orders will be processed. We promise. They're en route right now.
They're coming. We're not jipping you. And oh, by the way, if you buy something from the store, which is on our profiles, it's in our link tree, you will get a ticket to our 10-5 tailgate at Rogue Island. So we're having an event at Rogue Island. It's going to be awesome. We're having all free pass apps. There'll be drink specials. So that's included in buying a T-shirt, hat, mug, sweatshirt, whatever you buy. And you can bring up to 3 guests. So 4 people total for 1 ticket. So it's going to be awesome. So, all right. So Aidan, tell us what you've seen so far at camp and what's your favorite thing that you've seen at camp, or what do you want to talk about?
So we went a week ago now, and it was opening day. It was a great opening day. I had a little bit of trouble seeing the other side of the field where most of the action was. But from the clips that I've seen, from some of the stuff that I did see, Kai Williams looks incredible. Javion Henderson was getting second-team reps, which is understandable as a rookie. Christian Gonzalez looked good. I think the only really mistake that I saw was when Peppers dropped that wide-open interception from Josh Dobbs.
I remember
it was
that.
literally right to him.
High pointed it. It was so perfect.
Yep.
And then he dropped it.
Yeah, he just couldn't hold on to it. That was the only thing I remember being like, oh, well, that should have been.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great day. That was, I think it was the Thursday. Oh, no, it was the Wednesday.
It was the Wednesday. It was opening day.
That's right.
That Wednesday, yeah, because then Thursday was that walkthrough, wasn't it? Or
no, Friday was the walk. Friday was the walkthrough. Thursday was the day we did the Megapod.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The days are all blending together.
It all blends together now. Yeah.
Just wait until we get to week 1. Then it'll be every day.
It's all conjecture until they actually start playing the game. So, but that's what we're here for. Conjecture and speculation. So we will continue to do that while we have things to evaluate on the field.
I think it was you that said it, Mike, that Will Campbell's now working at Amazon, right? He gave up some sacks in practice today, so he's like, now he's done, or what?
You can't attribute that to me. I don't know what goes on with that group chat with all of you fellas and whatnot. But no, never once. I've said since day one that yes, there are concerns, but he deserves every single opportunity to win the job. And yes, he has had some growing pains. It's understandable, but he ended up bouncing back today. Like, he got beat early on a couple one-on-ones, but then in 11-on-11s, he ended up holding his own. So I think the Will Campbell concern, I'll use the word concern, that's the word of the day, is a little bit premature and unwarranted.
I agree.
He's got to get his feet wet. I mean, people are saying, look, he got beat inside twice because he oversets on the outside to make up for the lack of length on his arms. And it's like, come on, guys, really? All right. So you just validated your whole offseason take that his arms are a quarter inch shorter than they should be. Come on. You let the guy work it out. He's a rookie. He's on the first team. He's in the deep end of the pool. He's been going up against Keon White, who's freaking Debo from Friday. You know that, man.
Exactly.
He's an absolute monster. So give the kid a break. Give him some time. Give him some growing pains to work it out. I mean, you think Drake May was a finished product his first week last year? He looked terrible.
Exactly.
Quite frankly.
Yeah,
So
it's a great point. And you know what? They're not looking at the defenders and saying, oh, he blocked that defender so well. What's going on with this defender, right? So it's clearly set up for the offensive guys to fail when they fail, right? It's like,
and all of a sudden
everyone pours it on.
Yeah, you don't hear about the other day when they were doing 11-on-11, a heavy run game, when he pancaked Milton Williams twice in a row on down blocks.
Or
Go ahead, yeah.
Or this rep right here. This was against Keon White, a very physical rep. I'll show you right now.
He's a fighter.
I'm sorry.
He's a fighter.
It's a great rep. It's Keon White. He's a very, very strong, physical, violent attacker. And he's standing toe to toe with him. So, I mean, you can't put a microscope on the negative things because it fits your narrative, right? Your narrative pre-draft, post-draft. Oh, we should have picked them. Now, granted, I am one of the people that said I wish we traded down pre-draft to go get a Josh Simmons or somebody and then take all that draft capital invested in other places. But it doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, we have to see what happens at the very least at the Commanders joint practices 1 and 2 preseason and then 3 live action. And we might
joint
not see the best of
joint practice is going to be huge for him. Huge against other competition. And apparently one of the better teams in the league now, all of a sudden, with Washington, who made the NFC Championship last year. So it's probably going to be a big draw. I'm curious to see how many Washington fans are going to come out to that. Because I don't know if you were there last year for the Eagles joint practice. That was standing room only. You couldn't get in, but that's the Eagles. Those are Eagles fans. So I'm curious to see how Washington fans travel. But either way, it's going to be a fascinating matchup. And I can't wait to watch Jaden Daniels in person. I've never seen him up close. So let's see if all the hype is warranted. It probably is, but I like to get eyes on it.
Yeah, and they're a veteran team. I think they're second oldest team in the league. I think I saw a stat with the Commanders. They're not like set up for long-term success, even though they have the most important position figured out. They're a veteran team, so I think it is going to be a great test in both practice and in the preseason game. So for me, I think, okay, maybe at that point he loses some reps there. He loses a sack. At that point you can kind of, okay, we're not going to throw the towel in, but maybe at the level of threat, the level of, worry goes up a little bit. But it might take him half the year to really get comfortable with that position. He's a talented player that has great footwork, great technique, but might have to grow into the role.
I just look back to Josh McDaniels' offenses historically. When tackles have needed help, he gives those guys the help that they need. We've had young tackles when Matt Light, that was a little bit before McDaniels' time, but he needed help. Nate Solder came in, he needed help, and they got him the help. They would chip, they would have a third tight end who's an extra, an
extension of the line,
your backup tackle would be the third tight end. You have guys chipping out of the backfield constantly, and you have people, an extra protection guy staying home, whether that be a receiver or somebody in the backfield. So he's not going to leave this kid out on an island. Do you think he's going to leave him on an island one-on-one in week 1 versus Max effing Crosby? No, we're going to We're going to do everything we can to make sure that guy's taken care of first. McDaniels is going to make sure he goes on matchups and he plays to players' strengths. So he's going to identify that Max Crosby will overpower Will Campbell just on the sheer experience alone. Max Crosby is one of the best defensive ends in the league, and he's been that way for a long time. You can't expect any first-round pick, even if he's first round or a rookie or whatever, you can't expect him to just hold his own against him. You got to hedge your bets on that. So I'll see a lot of chips. We're going to see stuff in the screen game, trying to go toward his side once he gets upfield and try to confuse him a little bit. So I'm interested in seeing it, but they're not going to leave Will Campbell on an island. They're going to get him help.
I agree, 100%. What do you think, Aidan? What are your thoughts on Will Campbell? You out on him? You in on him? What do you think?
I've always said, who cares if the dude's arms are that much shorter than they need to be?
Right.
Like, if the dude can play, the dude can play.
And
he was facing some of the best talent in the SEC last year, so he can pretty much obviously play. Obviously, playing NFL tackle is a little bit different than playing college tackle, but it's the same idea.
Yeah, you're playing against the best talent in the SEC. Savage actually had a little live thing today in X where like 100 people joined. Divish was in there, like a bunch of people joined in.
Oh, really? It was that strong, huh?
He just like say, hey, I'm gonna do a little pop-up thing, and everyone jumped. A bunch of people piled in, the listening sessions, and it was great. I just played. First of all, I was at work, so I'm like walking outside, and I'm like, I couldn't talk because there was people around me, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be the guy talking about Patriots like at work. I'm like, just started a job, but I'm playing the soundboard, like trying to react to things. They're like, what the hell was that? And the division's like, oh, I think it was Joe messing with everybody. So finally I unmuted. But no, everyone was saying the whole gamut of I told you should have kicked him into left guard. We should never drafted it. Like everyone's just piling it on. And it's like, guys,
it makes no sense. Even if you feel like he's a left, even if you feel like he is a left guard, it still doesn't make sense just based on the makeup of our roster. He has to stay at tackle. There's no alternative.
There's no other option. We've seen it.
You're going to wait for Vidarian Lowe to come off a PUP or whatever. He's going to be your guy. I think we all saw what he did last year. Okay. So I don't want that guy anywhere near the team. I'm still surprised he's on the team. So you have to make it work with Will Campbell, whether you like it or not. Bottom line, end of story.
The experiment will go the whole year. That's it. If it's an experiment and it doesn't work out, you will see it the whole year.
If he moves to guard, it is a monumental failure by the coaching staff and the front office staff. That's it.
Bar none. All right. So we had one story about Will Campbell. It's funny because like 2 days ago, it's like, oh, he's great. He's holding his own. He won reps against this guy. And now today's doom and gloom. So we just, it's the roller coaster, right?
Well, one thing that people have said is that he's been very strong in the run game. So he hasn't gotten a lot of criticism in the run game. And another thing people are conceding is his hand strength. Once he locks onto you with his hands, he's a bully. He won't let
his
you
punch.
Go.
Everyone keeps talking about his punch. He's got a punch, and once he gets that punch on you, he noticeably backs people up.
He's got handwork and he's got power. So as long as he learns to utilize that in the NFL, he's going to be good.
So if the low end on the offensive line was Will Campbell, certainly the high end on the offensive line was Jared Wilson. And so everybody at this point has heard the clips. I'll bring this up real quick. Savage put it up. Caden Wallace, I couldn't get to download the video, but essentially he said, and this is his competition, which we were just talking about this before the pod. Caden Wallace is in direct competition with Jared Wilson, and he's saying this guy's really fucking good. So to me, I mean,
that's weird.
It's weird. It's totally weird. Like imagine like you're competing for a promotion, right? And you're telling like your boss,
oh, this guy's better than me. I'm just telling you right now.
Hey, who needs that promotion? This guy here. But so you got
Came
that
off a little
going
weird.
on. Yeah, you got
and
Milton
Williams
saying the future is bright for him from Pat's Planet. Scotty B put this up. I mean, everyone's singing this guy's praise. He's beaten people in one. He beat Barmore twice in one-on-ones yesterday. He beat Milton Williams in one-on-ones once. He plays all three positions. He's currently starting at the left guard position. We'll see what happens. Is Bradbury hurt? The extent of his hurt? Ben Brown's in there. We got some weird stuff going on in the interior from the left and the center. But at least we got Jared Wilson. It sounds like Jared Wilson will be a starter for us. That's what it's kind of shaping up to be. But I guess we'll see.
I mean, I told you Greg Bedard, I think today declared that Jared Wilson had already won the left guard spot, and now it's his to lose. And Greg Bedard is usually pretty spot on and plugged in, but that's after 2 days of him getting the top reps. You can't say that. They're working different guys in different combinations to see what sticks and what doesn't stick. Now, look, we all want Jared Wilson to start, whether it be at guard or center, but I just don't think you could pencil him in right away after 2 practices. He looked good. He moves great. As far like he's very athletic, so pulling on run plays, this kid is getting after it. Him and Will Campbell on the left side, that's going to be a pretty powerful dynamic, especially when they're trying to push to the outside and get those outside zone runs going. He would be ideal for that. But it also gives me a little bit of pause because he was strictly a center in college and he keeps having botched snaps. So now they're trying him out at left guard. So we had like a center competition with Bradbury and Wilson, but now Bradbury's hurt. They signed this other kid, Alec Lindstrom, the kid from the UFL, the center. They signed another center, and now they're moving Wilson to the left guard. So we went from having a healthy center position to all of a sudden what, Joe, today? You had Ben Brown, who filled in admirably last year. It wasn't adequate, but it was admirable that he did it.
Right.
But now he's your first team starting center. So it's like, is that the best way to utilize all the talent on the top 5? That's all.
Yeah, it's tough. I think it's good that we're seeing Jared Wilson step up because that does take away. We were kind of like Cole Strange, Bradbury. Oh, this is not going to be good, right? So at least we got Jared Wilson in the rotation there. Now we need somebody else to step up, or maybe our starting center isn't on the roster, right? That's the other thing. Maybe that sucks.
If that's true, that sucks because you need chemistry with your quarterback. You know,
right?
But Drake May needs to know his center very well.
Fair, and maybe Jared Wilson is that future center. And maybe there's another bridge on the way, or maybe he kicks in and our starting left guard isn't on the roster, right? So, but I don't know. I feel like no matter what, I still feel like we're better than last year. I still feel like it's impossible that we're not better than last year, which to me is the bar.
Yeah, you look at the lineup last year compared to this year, just on paper alone. I mean, our 2 tackles, we had the 2 worst tackles in the league last year in Lowe and Jacobs. And now we have Campbell and Moses, which is supposed to be a huge step up. But Moses has been on a snap count, and he hasn't looked that great either. He's kind of showing his age a little. You know, everybody's talking about Kayshon Boutte, Will Campbell. He's doing it on the other side as well. So I don't know if people are noticing that, but he's coming off he's screaming off the left edge and beating those right tackles. He beat Morgan Moses several times in the past week that I saw. And then behind him is DeMontre Jacobs and the rookie Marcus Bryant, who I think has potential, but he's not a starting tackle in the league right now. So you don't really have a very solid right tackle star right now, too. I understand Moses' age and a load management and all things like that. He's a vet, crafty vet. You want to keep him healthy and happy. But the reps that I've seen him in, I just have not been impressed with. So to me, all of a sudden, there's question marks.
Yeah, I think he's getting the Carlton Davis treatment, right? And Carlton Davis is not even there a lot of the times, but he's getting that same like, all right, we've seen enough. Go take a rest.
Yeah, but Moses is 34 years old. Carlton is what, 29?
Yeah.
Like, Moses is longer than.
That's kind of an enigma. I'm with you on that one. The Carlton Davis thing is like, all right, buddy, like we kind of need you here now. Christian Gonzalez is on the shelf a little bit. You know, we are bringing guys like DJ James, and we're bringing Alex Austin up. So now they have more chance to get up against ones, and that's good. But
they don't make $20 million a year to start a quarterback like Carlton Davis does. So I'd like to see a little bit more out of him moving forward. It's great to get the young guys some run, but if you got Alex Austin starting on the outside in week 1, and you know I love him, then we have a problem. You know what I mean? So
I agree. It messes up everything.
We need to get those 2 guys up to speed. Gonzalez, I understand you got to keep him on ice. Keep him on ice for as long. We've talked about it. If he has even the slightest little hamstring strain, keep him on ice. We need him for the regular season. You don't want to play around with that at all. We already know what he can do. I haven't seen Carlton Davis in this defense though. So
yeah, it's true.
I'd like to see a little more. That's all.
Yep. All right. I got a little Kyle Williams clip here I want to show, which I have not seen a bad day of Kyle Williams. I haven't seen him drop balls. I haven't seen him make a bad route. I mean, I haven't seen him do anything bad. And he just, like, we talked about this at the draft, like the day of the next week. He's the consummate pro. This guy does everything right. He shows up, and this guy does work. I mean, well, watch this clip. I mean, it's a very simple route too. There's not much to it, but it was that initial setup, that release package from the line you could see. And this is where, Mike, you always say it, when you're playing flanker, you get that little buffer zone. Well, guess what? You get that little buffer zone. He makes one quick move and he's gone. That's it. He's
too quick. His footwork off in that flanker position, it gives him extra room to juke you out. That's all you're doing is giving him an extra yard to juke you out, and he can do that. And he's also got hand fakes and head fakes, like I used to like Wes Welker because he would like bounce his head around and get guys thrown off.
Yeah.
This kid, he does a little of that too. So he uses his whole body to fake people out, whether it be his handwork, faking where he's going with his hips, because guys are always going to look at your hips and your belly area because that's where your body's going to be, but he's bendy enough where he can fake his hips one way and then go another way. He's just a really crafty receiver. I've seen a lot of good things. I don't have a lot of he's smaller than I thought. He's a slight little guy. I mean, that's the only knock I could have on him, but his footwork has been incredibly impressive. His breaks and his routes have been impressive. He's been precise with his route running, and his hands are great too. So I think he's had a great camp. I have no complaints. I have high hopes for that guy.
I agree. What do you think, Aidan?
I hope he's what you guys seem to think he is. I don't get me wrong. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think he is that too.
Oh, you can disagree. We encourage it, by the way.
Yeah, go for
it. I'm not. I think he's exactly what we needed from that draft where we were picking. I've always said I was happier with Travion and Kyle Williams than I would have been with probably Luther Burden and whoever we would have gotten in the third round at running back.
I agree with that.
But looking in that clip, that's a very simple goal line fade. That stutter step is exactly what we have been missing in that the ability to create separation as a whole team, not even just like Demario Douglas or Kayshon Boutte or Jalen Polk, whoever you can think of that was on the team last year. It was the team itself, and it's really been since since we had Julian Edelman in 2020.
Yeah. That's
pretty
fair.
much. I mean, you're looking at a skill set of guys. Your top three guys that we're talking about. Well, Williams, I can include him in that too. But who are the top three guys, Joe? You got Boutte, and then you got Diggs as the flanker, and then you got Douglas.
Yep.
All these guys have those guys and Williams have a similar physical makeup. Boutte's a little bit bigger than those guys, but the other three guys that are going to get a bunch of run are all the same type of player. They're small, jitterbuggy type of players. They shake people line of scrimmage. They get off their stems, and it's going to be a quick hit offense. So, I was complaining last week about Drake May not taking shots, but this offense might not be designed that way because these guys are so shifty. He can get the ball out within 2.5 to 3 seconds after the snap and still move the chains, just like Brady used to do with all his slot guys. And all these guys are interchangeable with the exception of Boutte, I think. And I've told you, I think the X position is his to lose at this point. But there's going to be a combination. But those guys, they're going to be a crafty inside type of over the middle offense, and these guys are going to thrive on that just as long as everybody does their job. And Drake gets the ball to them because he's been a little bit inaccurate, but for the most part, he's looked good. He looked good today too.
Yeah, I agree. I think that ability to win one-on-one and then finish, right? Because we've even had that last year. We had guys win one-on-one matchups and then drop the ball or get in wide open spaces crossing over the field and just not finish, not recognized down and distance. I mean, it's every error we could have, we had last year. And so just having guys that can play the position with intelligence, with skill, with ability to finish and separate. I mean, this is like 101 receiver, right? This is exactly what they need to do, but we just haven't had a receiver. We literally have, outside of Pop Douglas last year. I mean, Boutte showed a lot of flashes, don't get me wrong, And actually, I'll show you this clip right now. It's actually a pretty good clip that that Pat's Planet put up.
So you guys know I've been raving about him all offseason. Look at that beauty. That beauty to booty. May I find booty in the back. Let's look at it one more time, right? Look at this. Woo!
I like booty.
And again, there's not like that. This route is not rocket science. He literally ran kind of inside out. It was an out route, but he started in and went out. But I mean, it was against lower talent. It wasn't like Gonzo or anything, but still a play like that where you can get some separation. It's a timing throw. I mean, even if that defender was another yard or two closer, that throw was perfect. That was a perfect throw, and Boutte executed it perfectly. We haven't had players that can do that. It's like wild.
And one thing you can say about Boutte is that his skills at the X are not a fluke. And I know we had the worst coaching staff in the league last year, and he came out of nowhere to win that X job. Everybody had him cut in training camp last year, and he came out of nowhere, ended up being the number one receiver. So this regime, completely new scheme, new regime, new staff. This guy's still the X, and it's his job to lose. Already a week at OTAs and everything else, and a week into training camp. So that tells me that the guy's skills are obviously real. They translate. They're valid. They're keeping him there. It's his job to lose. So I like the guy out there. Like I said, he's a different type of receiver. He's not a burner. He's not your prototypical X. I mean, he's like 6 foot 200, which is bigger than the other guys. But he's not taping.
He plays bigger though. He does.
He really does.
Bigger.
He uses his body fantastically. He knows how to work the boundary really well. So that's why he's a great X receiver. He doesn't have a lot of versatility, but I don't have any problem with that because if you have a good X, then you're good to go.
Yeah, and what the one thing I always noticed in camp was he's always in the front of the line facing the team. So he's always. I'm not sure if he'll be a captain. I highly doubt it, but I'm telling you right now, between him, Diggs, and Bourne, they are like the veterans of that group. And I was kind of on the fence with Bourne and whether he'd make it or not. And now I'm kind of a believer. I'm like, after seeing them in training camp, seeing what they did before camp to get together and how Bourne kind of took Kyle Williams under his wing, I think they're liking that chemistry. I don't know what I'm now thinking Mac Hollins, given he's on the pup. He just put a video out about aliens.
I saw that.
Are you kidding me?
I watched it. I don't even know what he was trying to do. Don't take this the wrong way. He's a very strange guy.
Oh yeah, no, he is.
You call him a spade a spade. Is what
yeah. He is what it is. He wears no shoes. He eats with his hands. He doesn't use forks. And then he talks about aliens.
It comes to a point where you're too eccentric. You know what I mean? Now I don't know when he recorded that. People are saying like, oh, instead of practicing, he's doing this. He might have recorded that 6 months ago or a year ago and just posted it now. But nobody knows about that. But the fact that he's doing it is weird. Okay. So it's just weird. That's all. Like his eccentricities in the locker room and how he pushes guys and does stuff like that. That's good for team and team building. But when you get into conspiracy theories and you're not on the field, people are obviously going to have questions about you. So they're going to have questions about him. And I see him not practicing in training camp and getting PUP'd and then getting activated somewhere along in the season because based on the receivers I see right now, there's no room for this guy.
No.
Where are you going to fit him? Who would you rather like? Who do you want benched in favor of him right now?
I think one of the rookies last year.
Right, Poker Baker, but I think one of them makes it. I think one of them sticks now. Like the more that I'm seeing this, the more that I'm seeing them come out with pads and they're competing. Right, they're making plays. Baker made a few plays. I won't show it because the audio is terrible. It's super loud. But Baker made a touchdown. I think he made 2 touchdowns today. One long one with Drake May and one with Josh Dobbs. And then Jalen Polk. I mean, he always comes on at training camp and he's shown he can at least compete. Yeah.
In the past couple of days that he's been out there, he looks the part, he moves the part, he's made a couple of good catches. Like everything points to him being a decent receiver in the NFL, but then he gets into actual games and loses his mind and just doesn't know his assignment or misses his run or misses his block or does something and gets
He had
bent.
A quote. So... They interviewed him, I think today or yesterday, I forget. But I remember reading the quote and I'm like, this is a bunch of like, I don't know. He's just like, he wasn't even talking. It's like, oh, there's that, nothing's different. Like, I don't like. I read the whole quote and I'm like, I have to read this like 4 times. This makes
but
no sense.
what was his point though?
I still don't really know. He basically saying nothing's different. He said nothing's different, and he like I don't know if he said he got in his head or what. I forget exactly what he said, but I'm like, just say what you got to say. Say last year was different. You know, I don't know. I think
no, he's a little bit of a weirdo. I mean, he called himself the best hands in the league last year.
Yeah.
And then this year he was like, "No, I don't think about none of that stuff that ever happened. I'm just thinking about today." I'm like, "You're a liar. You're not."
Exactly.
That's disingenuous. I know that if you're not looking back on your mistakes, then you're not moving forward and you know making progress. So I don't know about the things that he says. I definitely don't know about the things that Javon Baker says. But I will say that they both have made plays, and it's going to be a tough room to evaluate. There's too many bodies. There's a lot of bodies, and nobody wants Jalen Polk on the team, but nobody in the organization wants to cut a 37th overall pick from last year. So
right.
you're in a conundrum here. That's why I would have preferred they keep him on a practice and PUP him, because I think I was explaining this to some of the guys the other day. Once a guy practices in training camp, if you can't PUP him. If you PUP him, he's out for the season. You have to sneak him through a wait. You have to sneak him onto the roster after week 1 and then PUP him, and then he can come back. But if he hasn't practiced at all in training camp, if you PUP him, he can come back in week 4 or week 5 or whatever the case may be. Yeah. So I was kind of hoping they were going to put him on ice too, just in case, but that didn't happen. So it's another body to evaluate in that room. So who knows if that room is going to be 5 deep, 6 deep, 7 deep. It's going to be pretty fascinating, and at whose expense? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
What other roster spot is going to lose out because we have too many receivers that we want to keep? So it's going to be an interesting thing the way they handle that.
Yeah, we had Lampy go on IR, which was a complete.
That's a blow. Shocked. That's a blow to us.
It was, you know, I was really into the idea. I liked his versatility, even outside of the fullback position. But I think that could end up going to maybe an inline tight end, maybe Westover. I don't think we don't have another fullback on the roster.
No,
but that could go to a receiver too, right? That could make that number 6 go to 7. So,
well, the interesting thing, Joe, is that they signed 2 tight ends today, Tyler Davis and Cole Fotherington, who are undrafted guys that haven't done anything in the league at all. But the fact that they're loading up on all these tight ends gives me pause, because are they using them for actual tight ends, or are these guys going to be evaluated for the fullback role, or how is that going to really work out? And then you have Jaheim Bell, who's the completely unspoken guy in the room in the tight end position. And I don't know if you saw, there was a one-on-one clip yesterday of Mike Vrabel working with Jaheim Bell.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, on his handwork and blocking, and it was a good minute-long clip of Vrabel just coaching this guy up. And he's got Bell on special teams too. And Jaheim Bell is an excellent athlete and a great seam guy. Doesn't really know how to block, which is why Vrabel was like showing him the stuff. But he's another guy that has sneaky talent that could make his way onto the roster, especially now that Lampy's not there. And CJ Dipre, the guy that we like, who I would like to see, I've heard of him, and none of it has been positive so far. He's been buried, and he hasn't really looked that good in the camps that I've gone to. So Jaheim Bell's a sneaky guy to look at on that. I don't think he can't play fullback because he's more of a seam type of move tight end guy.
Right.
But he might sneak on too. And it's like, well, do you want the 7th receiver who's not going to play, or the 3rd tight end who might be in certain packages and play special teams? So it's like questions like that. You're going to have to hash through all that.
Yep. I agree. And another interesting cut, nothing too crazy, but Trevion Williams was cut. So to me,
that gives your boy a clear look.
Hey,
Lan Larison, you're back on team 3, buddy. We're ready for you to make that jump.
Yeah.
That's Joe's boy right there.
Taylor Kyle said Len Larison gets a rep with the starters, follows strong blocks from Hunter Henry and Kayshon Boutte for a big screen gain. So there was that. And then there was, I believe, a bounce out run he got with the second team with Dobbs, where he shook a tackle and cut inside on a guy and got into the end zone. And the guy was trying to tackle him. He's like bull rushing into him. I don't have to say anymore, but I think
if he can carve out a core special teams role, then he absolutely deserves a spot on the roster, hands down.
Yeah, Agreed. So the running back room, Mondre's looked good. I have to admit, Mondre has looked a little more explosive for sure. Obviously, the big thing with him is can he hold on to the football, but he's lost 20 pounds between him, Gibson, Travion, and even Lan Larison. I think we're deep at that position. And as much as people want to say that we're, wide receiver, we don't have a wide receiver one, I keep seeing that, and that just like goes right up my, to me, it's the sum of the parts, right? Josh McDaniels, with who we have, I think has the weapons he needs to scheme and keep people guessing, keep people on their heels. So to me, the big question is the offensive line. And it looks like we got some things we're working out. We got some players that are better than last year. So if we're just a little bit better, if we go from like the 30th worst offensive line to like the 20th or 25th even, I think we can. I think with this offense, I think we can do enough. Granted, I think the defense is going to have to do a lot too. But if those people are healthy, if Christian Gonzalez can come back in, if Carlton Davis can come back in, I'm feeling pretty good. After camp, I still feel great.
I'm not super concerned. I mean, we're talking about the wide receiver room, who stays, who goes. Whoever does stay, I'm not super concerned about it and I'm not comparing this team to previous regimes and teams, but historically McDaniel's offense, who did Tom Brady really have to throw to in most seasons, aside from when he had superstars sporadically here and there? He was throwing to guys that were off the street half the time and making it work because of McDaniel's scheme. He schemes guys open, and I think the receiver set that he has right now is perfect for his offense. So I'm not worried about those guys. I am worried that Drake May is going to be on time and on target with all of his stuff. I'd like to see them go back to the quick 3-step drop, boom, 3-step drop, boom, dink and dunk. I don't mind that. Move the chains, get it going. But I think we have a good receiver core in order to do that.
Yeah, I got this clip from Travion I have to show. So, I mean, Travion, to me, this guy, and we talked about the running backs, but this guy brings an element that we've never had. We've never had a Travion Williams. I mean, this guy is Jahmyr Gibbs. Watch this route. I mean, this is a wide receiver route, and he's a running back.
He's a bigger and more explosive James White, and that's a strong statement for me to make. Strong statement. They're using him in the same way. They're splitting him out wide. They love flexing those guys out wide.
Yep.
And he didn't do that at Ohio State, but he's doing it now, and he's loving it, and he's looking fantastic. And at the roll, the guy moves sensationally. Like his moves are so fluid and natural. Like I think they could line him up anywhere on the field that he can make an impact.
And Drake May loves throwing him the ball.
Good.
That was another perfect ball from Drake May, and that's a. I mean, let's face it, that's an unguardable play. That play is unguardable. You have your running back against, that was a corner, but that's probably going to be a linebacker in the game, right? That's most likely not going to be a corner in that position.
Matchups.
Yeah.
They're going to match him up favorably.
It's you're not going to guard that play. And so, to me, this is one of the best offensives that Josh McDaniels has had. These are the best weapons, probably, of the best weapons that he's had. So to me, this team doesn't need even a top 10, top 15 offensive line to be able to produce.
Just give the kid 3 seconds. That's all I ask.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. What do you think, Aidan? Give us your thoughts.
All right, so I have a couple things to touch on. First of all, going back to Kayshon Boutte and his sideline control, I want to say it was him week 1 against the Eagles, not last year, but the year before. If he can just keep doing that, but actually make that catch, he'd be incredible. He'll be a great receiver in this league.
I remember the exact play, too. Mm-hmm. That's what got him benched, and he was only out of bounds by 1 inch, that catch.
We probably would have beat the Eagles, too, if he had caught that. Jaheim Bell, you touched on for a hot minute. I think he takes Brooke Lampy's spot on the roster, not necessarily as a fullback, but just the roster spot itself. Brady and no targets. I just wanted to mention Chris Hogan, who played lacrosse after he retired from the NFL. He played here for a few years, and then he went to the Jets and decided that he was done with football and wanted to play a totally different sport. And then Travion Henderson, I really hope he can do good. He looked incredible at Ohio State last year, obviously splitting with Judkins. he incredible pass blocker, explosive. As you said, he can catch the ball. Hopefully he can be what James White should have been or could have been and hit 1,000, 1,200 or more yards. Bunch of touchdowns. I think that was it.
I think I can easily see, and again, it depends on how the scheme goes throughout the season. I can see Travion with like 40 catches and like 400 to 500 receiving yards, independent of whatever he does running the football, because the kid's skill set is too valuable. You can technically he's not going to play on first down right away, but on second and third down, like that's where his bread and butter is, especially because he's the best blocking back that came out of the draft this year.
And then add in these scenarios, right? Add in 2 minutes, right? Who's going to be in your 2-minute offense? I'm having Travion. Who's going to be in your hurry up? I'm having Travion. When we're behind, who's going to be in? I'm not having Ramondre in any of those scenarios. I refuse. Like, he is not versatile enough. It's going to be way too obvious what we're doing. He has to be off the field. Like, I really, this is where my mind says Mondre has kind of played himself. Not off the team yet, but like it's $1 million if we trade him in dead cap, and it's $6 million in dead cap if we cut him. It's just, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think I can afford to do that right now. Because
I'm not saying that now. I'm saying with Travion's trajectory, I think, like you said, I think by week 4 you could be seeing him getting 15 to 20 touches a game. I mean, if this guy's electric and he has 150 scrimmage yard game against the Raiders, week 1, what are they going to do? They're not going to be like, all right, we're going to hold him.
And when I talk about people giving Will Campbell help, he's who I'm talking about, by the way. Travion is who I'm talking about. He's going to chip, and then he's going to go out on his routes. I was watching clips today of John Gruden talking about different plays, like his best running back plays from all different teams. And he had a clip of Kenyon Drake from the Dolphins from like 10 years ago that moved out, and the guy didn't see him. He came along the edge and just shouldered the guy and pancaked him, went out, got the 3rd and 17 catch and converted it. And I see Travion doing the same exact stuff, because I saw it at Ohio State. You see some of the block pickups that he's got, the assignment, he understands his assignment. He knows who's getting through and who's not, and he knows how to go to that game. That's advanced. That usually takes a couple years in the NFL to learn. He already has it. So the sky is the absolute limit for that guy. When he got drafted, I told you I thought it was a little high just because the running back draft, it was so deep, and it was, and it's still there's a lot of talented guys, but not when you look at all of it, none of them quite have the skill set that he has in all 3 phases of those things. And I don't want him on special teams at all. I mean, if they want him to return kicks, that's fine, but I don't want him on special teams. You need to keep that guy in the backfield, because he's going to play a lot of snaps, meaningful snaps for you this year.
I agree. Yeah, he caught that. I think it was Thursday, because the fellas were there, and it was me and you, and I thought 12th Musket. It was a bunch of us there, and he caught that wasn't a screen. It was kind of like a bend, almost like a wheel, but it wasn't quite a wheel route. But he caught that ball on the sideline, and when I tell you, he caught that thing in stride, like, again, another perfect Drake May ball. Caught it right in stride. His legs kept moving the same pace, and it felt like if that was a game, that would have been either a house call or a 30, 40, 50-yard play. Like, it just felt that way. I'm like, okay.
And that's what we've been missing as a team, is the explosive plays from, again, everybody on the team, but specifically running backs. The last explosive running back we had was Ramondre from probably 2 years ago, and if you don't even want to include that, probably Damian Harris in 2021.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, and Mondre, he started out as a very good passing back. They had him in a lot of passing packages, but then he started to balloon up, and he wasn't as effective as those. So, and you've made note of it, and it's true. He has lost a lot of weight, because I feel like he needed to do that in order to keep his job.
Yeah,
so I think he's trying to do the right things. However, they are not using him in a passing back role in this offense at all. He's been a first and second down guy pretty much through and through. And that's fine because I like Antonio Gibson. I think he has a great all-around skill set, and he's a good passing back too. And then we all obviously want to see Henderson on the field a lot because of his potential and his promise. So not Travion, but Ramondre, he better eat on first down. I'm looking for at least 3.5 to 4 yards minimum per carry on first down.
He's got to get over. He's got to get over that 4 yards per carry. I think he ended the season at 3.9 or 3.8 or something like that. Which, I mean, granted, our O line was horrific, and clearly he had some weight issues. But yeah,
they're saying that our O-line is a force in the run game, and they really need pass blocking and refinement. So I'm expecting us to go run heavy, at least in the first week or so.
I agree.
And then see if people take that away, then maybe Josh puts in different packages for guys off play action and whatnot. I have noticed some play action stuff has looked really well. Drake May is getting better at play action. He's selling his fakes really well, and guys are understanding what he wants to do with the football because he's gone out of his way to spend time with these guys on and off the field, before practice, after practice, in between OTAs and training camp. He's doing everything he can to get a connection with these guys on the field. You love to see that. So I think that's going to manifest.
Yeah,
I'm hoping anyway.
I think coming out of camp today, I think that was the main takeaway from a lot of people was Jared Wilson, obviously the Will Campbell drama, but then Drake May. I think everyone's saying he looks the part. Stephon Diggs saying this guy's got a cool. He was on with Kay Adams saying this guy's a lot cooler than I thought. He had a very cool demeanor, just a very composed guy. Can throw, can get after it from throwing, can run. He's like, this guy can do it all. And this guy played with Josh Allen. I mean, it's not like he doesn't know what talent looks like. So.
And Stephon Diggs, he's trying to play, be a good guy right now, but he's also the type of dude that speaks his mind. So he wouldn't go too over the top on compliments unless he actually believed a portion of it. And those guys are creating chemistry. Didn't they have 2 hookups today in the end zone, something like that? Yep. So these guys are already creating chemistry. And Stephon Diggs is a dude that you can literally line up all over the field. He can play every single position in this offense. So you scheme him around and get him out into space, forget about it, So we're gonna have a bunch of guys that know how to get open in space. So I'm really looking forward to a lot of zone defense this year because we're gonna find the soft spots in the defense. So it'll be interesting to see how they play us, like what the other teams, how much do they respect us? Are they going to zone us up? Are they just going to man up and be like, these guys can't beat us, so we're just going to go?
Are they going to stack the box, right? Are they just going to stack the box and say, throw on us? I dare you to?
Excellent point. Because I think we're going to be a run-heavy team. Let's see if these other opponents are going to think that same thing too.
I would. That's how I would attack us. I would say, I'm going to make you beat us through the air because
I agree.
Guess what? Last year we didn't do that at all. Not that we ran the ball really well, but we have some electric players now on offense that can run the ball, I think. And so if I'm attacking the Patriots, I'm saying, I'm going to throw a lot at you, and I'm going to be heavy up front.
It's going to be run first. At least to start, it's going to be run first.
Yeah.
They'll probably do a lot of zone blitz and put pressure on May, try to take the running backs out of it, like you were saying. Try to keep Diggs out of it. Try to keep Boutte out of it. And leave the rest up to Pop and Williams and whoever that other guy is.
Yeah.
Well, I tell Joe all the time, if you cover man against Drake May, you do so at your own peril because these guys are leading you down the field and you're running in the opposite way and nobody's looking at Drake May. And if he's not spied, he's going to take off for 40 yards. If he sees nobody's looking at him, like, just spy him. It's very simple. Just spy. But teams last year weren't spying the guy. They were all way downfield looking at their defender, and he had all this kind of extra room to run, which I don't want to see that a heck of a lot this year because I don't want the kid to get hurt. But you have to take advantage of situations like that when nobody's looking at him and he can get 20 yards just by jogging over to the sideline. Like, people are going to have to keep an eye on that, which is why I think they're going to play us more in zone because of the threat of Drake's legs. But we'll see how smart or stupid coaches are against our offense when the time comes. I can't wait.
Oh, I can't wait. All right, boys. Well, another week down of training camp, and it's great. We got next week. We got obviously more training camp. We got the the next week is the game is Commanders practice. We got joint practice with the Commanders next week.
Right. Yeah.
This is crazy. This month is flying by. I just started a new job, and I'm looking at the calendar like, wait, next week is the game,
and we're going to that preseason game, right?
And we're going to the Commanders game.
Yeah.
Be there and see the Brady statue. And
are you going, Aidan?
May. Yep.
Oh, hell yeah! We'll meet at the statue.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Kraft was saying to Kay Adams today they've had the statue in like I don't know what kind of container, but they've had it like for like a year. He said today, and I guess they couldn't schedule anything with Brady. So he's too busy. I'm like, come on, a year, wild.
He's a busy guy. What can you do? He's larger than life at this point. So he's bigger than just the Patriots at this point. So more power to
Sydney
him.
Sweeney, Sofia Vergara. This guy, he's slanging.
Jeez, he's running the whole age gambit on that one. Gee whiz. He's not discriminating at all, huh?
He must have learned from Bill Belichick.
That's it. Yeah, it's 24-year-old, 25-year-olds next. Let's go.
Aidan, nice. That was nice. That was all well played, sir. Aidan, do you have any closing thoughts about what you want to see when we play Washington in the joint practices and in the scrimmage?
I would love to see Drake May more than I think we're actually going to see him. I would love to see Jaden Daniels more than I think we're actually going to see him. I would love to see the rookies try to establish that connection with Drake. I'd love to see Travion Henderson become that Antonio Gibson like extreme that I think he is, that he looks like he is. Kyle Williams should hopefully torch that Commanders defense. I don't even know who they have at this point.
Exactly.
In their secondary, like their D-line is fine. I know they let go of most of their D-line last year, but it's serviceable. And one other thing that we talked about when we originally tried to do this is one of those years for the Patriots where obviously anything less than like 7 or 8 wins is bad because of our schedule. Anything more than like 10 or 11 is good because of our schedule and our team. But we could also be 5-12, or we could be 12-5. So it's dependent on how everything meshes together, how well Vrabel and McDaniels can handle this team, and how well Drake may adjust to it. And how well they game plan against other teams. And as we talked about a lot, Max Crosby versus Will Campbell, those really big edge rushers versus the rookies, and trying to exploit that for better or for worse.
That's fantastic. I agree with all of that. It's a great take.
Awesome.
We're looking forward to all of that, and we also recognize the wild cardness of the situation. It could be a 5-win team. It could be a 12-win team, and anything in between. We're going to have to see. The biggest thing is Drake May's year 2 leap. He has an enormous amount of pressure on him. He's expected to be the guy, and we're fully expecting him to be the guy. So we're all just really hoping that he's doing it all. He's doing everything that he can do to be that guy as far as leadership, his work ethic, his communication, and his execution. He's doing it all. Let's see if he can do it all when he's game planned against a blind defense that he hasn't seen before. So that's going to be a huge part of it. I have confidence. I'm a Drake May guy. I think he balled the heck out last year. I thought he had it. I think he still does have it. He's in a new offense. Josh McDaniels' offense is historically amongst the most complex to learn. And each week you can literally see, even day by day, you can see him get more comfortable as far as his understanding with the offense and being able to execute that. So once the regular season rolls around, I feel like Josh McDaniels is going to have this kid prepared and have Tom Brady would always say, Josh always gives me the answers to the test. So he's going to do that with Drake May. Now, what Drake May does with those answers is a different story. Knowing the answer and completing the pass might be two different things. So, but I think he's set up for success as we go as Drake goes, that's how we're gonna go. That's the way I'm looking at it. I have high hopes. I'm looking for a Pro Bowl season out of the kid. I'm not gonna lie, right? I don't care if that's rose-colored glasses or anything like that, but I'm looking for a Pro Bowl season out of the kid. I'm looking to take a huge step up. We've done everything we can to insulate this man as far as the defense and the weapons around him. They've done everything they possibly could, and they've also made sure that he knows in no uncertain terms that he is the man. Joe, I've talked to you about this. They traded Joe Milton. They went way out of their way to not draft a quarterback. They waited until an undrafted guy, just as a camp arm. They signed a quarterback who was a career backup. So there's no competition for him. So they're making it clear, which is cool. Vrabel's like, dude, this is your show. So you do it. And he's been doing it. He's had growing pains, but he's been doing it. And I have full confidence in Drake May. I think he's going to have a great season. I really do.
He just needs to take what the defense will give him week in, week out. And we could very well be competing for not only a playoff spot, but even the AFC East. Buffalo doesn't have an easy schedule this year.
Yeah, and I think Maxwell Hairston went down.
LCL. He's going to be out for like a month. They thought he was they thought it was an ACL. He got lucky. It's an LCL, but he's still going to be out about a month. And even then, it's not going to be right because he's not going to have surgery on it. So he was a great draft pick. I like that guy, but he was going to be the number one corner, and now he's not. So, and we've talked about the Bills and their roster has kind of been pedestrian. They've kind of like stayed the course. But guess what? The course hasn't won them a Super Bowl. So I don't expect it. I don't expect it to do that this year either. No. So I'm not quite as afraid as the Bills as I have been in the last couple of years.
We're gaining on them.
I think we can hang with them a little bit.
We're gaining space on them for sure. So this is a maker. It's not maybe a make or break year for them. I think the Ravens maybe have a more make or break year because all the stars are aligning for them. And Derrick Henry's only getting older. And some of the other vets they have in the team are also getting older. Granted, they have a pretty young defense and some good fellows. They drafted extremely well. But the Bills are certainly not at the point of the Ravens, right? The Ravens are our toughest schedule toughest matchup that we have on our schedule.
I have an L on that one. The Ravens are good. I have an L on that one.
It's week 16 though. They're either going to be in a playoff spot almost guaranteed, or they're going to be hurt.
That's our only way.
And going back to the Bills for half a second, it's going to be a lot of hero ball for Josh Allen, like it has been in the past.
And that's the thing. And that's why, Joe, you mentioned like the Bills window might be closing. I know Josh Allen's 30 years old, but he's not a Tom Brady 30 years old. He's a Steve Young 30 years old, where he's run so much and taken such a beating. And they've put the offense on his shoulders so many times. He's not going to play till he's 40 years old. I'm just telling you, his body's going to break down, especially the way he plays. And especially because they didn't insulate him with guys to make plays around him. It's going to be the same ball. Josh Allen's going to play the same ball that he played last year and the year before. He's going to take off. He's not going to give an F, and he's going to take a bunch of hits downfield, and he's going to say, well, that's just the way I play. But that only takes you so far. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how much wear and tear gets on him and how long his career will actually last, because I feel like at some point it's going to be too much on his body. So we'll see about all that. We'll see.
I agree. All right. Well, it's been a great episode. Aidan, thank you so much. I like doing this. I think we're going to do it again. So if we have some mega fans approach us and they want to be on the show, we might just have you on. So
all right. Tune in. I'd appreciate that. I appreciate you trying again. And I have it on next to me, so I know that it's working.
We always like to talk. We always like to talk to guys that have like a positive and optimistic approach about the Patriots, like we do. Now we criticize people. We point out our concerns. We're not immune to that, but we always like to put it in a positive light. So yes, there's problem X, Y, and Z, but we can fix it with solution A, B, and C. So that's what we're always trying to look at, how they can overcome these obstacles. And we have high hopes, and we appreciate having somebody on that feels the same way. So we really appreciate you having on.
I appreciate you again. I appreciate you trying again and letting me on in the first place. I would love to be back if you're willing to host me.
Yeah, man.
Let's go, Pats.
Let's go.
Let's do it. LFG, baby.
All right, boys. Thanks a lot. Tune in next week.
For episode 17. That'll be 17 next week.